Welcome back to Where Wendy Travels, Where Wendy Creates. We are picking up where we left off before with all of the 40 or so pages that we have taken out of the 50-page pack of colored cardstock, and we're going to take those pages and add some pockets to them now. So this is a continuation to create the same 6 to 10 different journals that we have. And we have some beautiful book pages that we've spared out and some of the other cardstock that we haven't folded into pages yet. We thought we would go ahead and make pockets on. So I'm going to take some of the pages that we have worked on and start making pages. So I'm going to separate some of these that are already perforated on the sides or torn or cut with the fancy scissors from those that are not. And I like to have a lot of pockets in my journals, so we're going to be adding a bunch of pockets today and then starting to decorate those pages as well. So I'm really excited about today's video that we get to play and share. So if you're working on a journal today, go ahead and grab it, and let's see if we can add some beautiful touches that are going to really enhance it and let that book shine. So we've got them separated here into 2 stacks, and all of these we're going to go ahead and add pockets onto right now. So I can take this over to my paper cutter and I can cut these sheets, or I can simply fold them in half and start that process. And I think I'm going to fold them long ways because we're going to put a lot of journaling and different pieces on top of this. And we're going to take 2 pages together, and we're going to simply sew down the edge of one and sew up the other. I like to use a zigzag stitch or a straight stitch if I'm going to put some other ribbon on it. So speaking of that, maybe I will go ahead and open up this package of, I believe it was 75% off ribbon, and see if we can go ahead and add this to it. It calls itself ribbon, but of course it's lace cut to ribbon size, and I think it matches this one page really, really well. So we are going to go ahead and use that on the edges of our pockets today. All right, so let's see if we can do that very nicely here. And I'm going to take it just a little bit higher than the sides of that pocket, and we'll cut that off and quickly sew that on here. And I think I'll have it stick out just a little bit over the edge as well, because I like textures. And we're going to move this stitch over to a zigzag stitch. Move that width up, and the length is large. And we're simply going to take that down the page. Now we don't have to go across the bottom, but I do like going across the bottom. That way, no matter how we use that pocket, we're never going to lose anything out of it. And before I get to the other side, we're going to go ahead and take a piece of ribbon approximately the same length, and we're going to sew it up that side to close up that pocket, make it very beautiful. A little bit overlapping the edge, going a little bit higher than the pocket and overlapping some. I'm going to take that stitch right out on top of the fabric, position the needle close to the bottom, lift the needle, lift the foot up, keeping the needle down, and then pivot, put it back down, hold your ribbon, and zip right up the side. Okay, pull that out, cut our threads, And we have our first pocket, and fold this back over. And the pocket was never folded in the first place, so you do want a nice solid thumb crease there. And we have our first pocket on all 4 pages. So you have the 1 page, 2, 3, and 4. And of course, these are going to be separated in the middle with other pages, so they won't all be together. Just as you flip them, they have the ribbon and the pocket. Okay, so let's put a stack of these right down here beside me, and those are done. And let's move on to the next one. And I might not, let's put this one down. I'm not sure how I want to do it, because I think I want this blue page with the aqua color going on this one. And we're going to turn that in. And we're going to put that pocket on this the same way. So we have all 4 pages with the 4 pockets. And this page is a little bit longer than my cardstock, so I'll probably trim one edge off. No, actually a little bit shorter than the cardstock. So let's go ahead and fold that in the middle. And because it looks like that, and the page is a little bit longer, we could use one of the scalloped or the torn pages for this, because that center sheet is a little bit shorter, and that way if we tear it, it's going to be the appropriate size on that. But I think I like it just as is, but I'm probably going to move it to a straighter stitch or a tighter zigzag on this one than what I had. And I don't think I'm going to put the ribbon on this, because I like the edge like that. I might put some brads or some different decorations. So I'm not going to do that in the process right now. So let me go ahead and put it in here. We're going to tighten up that stitch length a bit. Make it not quite as wide, half as wide. And we'll just go ahead and attach that. And I am bobbing around a lot there. Oftentimes when I'm using the sewing machine on this folding card table like I'm doing, I'll put a piece of plywood on top of the table to give it a little more stability. And we're going to go ahead and needle down on the edge. I'm going to turn this over to a straight stitch. I'm going to go along the bottom. Just straight stitch up this side as well with a wide stitch, and that way we can zigzag over. I love that zigzag look though. I think we're going to go with a straight stitch on this side, because I'm probably going to put some lace here. I'm just not sure what kind. All right, and we've got that pocket done. And needle up, pull it out, trim my threads. And we're going to give it a closer trim later on, so that is no big deal. Now these threads, if you want to make paper with threads, keep your threads, because we can make a scarf, we can make different decorations, or even add these in with our papers, which I'll show you when we start to make our paper. Okay, so we have another page with pockets. So what do you think? Kind of cool, huh? I like it. And we'll put that down and start on our next page. And again, we're going for a lot of pages, trying to get all of these done, so we can go ahead and show you how we bind the book, and then we'll go into a lot more detail on how to, once the junk journal is bound, then how to decorate it. This one I think we'll just straight stitch as well, but I'm going to do a loose stitch. So it's going to be a very wide length. And I'm going to try and go slow. This one doesn't have the turtle gear or the rabbit gear. It's just kind of however my foot presses the pedal. Okay, and I think on this one side, I might go ahead and add maybe this to it. So we'll go ahead and put some ribbon on one side of the journal page. Cut this off before I get to the end because I'm going to knot it, over stitch, knot it again, and that way when I cut the ribbon, it's not going to unfray on me. So I'm at the top, we're knotting it so it doesn't fray, and then I'm going past, and I'm going to knot this so it doesn't fray, and then we're going to needle up, pull it out, trim my threads, and then I've over stitched but knotted on both sides so I can trim that, and that's not going to come apart because I have it over stitched and knotted. And then you can see I have that beautiful, if you will, page mark on the side of that with that beautiful ribbon sticking out. So we might put beads on that bottom one that come out. So I'm not going to cut that off. We're going to leave that there so we can decide what we want to do with it then. But I love adding those sides of the pages to it. So that looks really gorgeous. So we're going to set that aside and move up to the next. And we're going to put the pages on the bottom. It looks like I do have one with a scalloped edge. Let's go ahead and put a pocket on that as well anyway. Maybe we're going to do the same color on this one. We're going to trim off the edge because we have the scallop sides. So we don't necessarily want to cover up those beautiful scallops. So we'll take that paper. If we don't use it later, we'll make new paper with it. So we'll recycle that one. Okay, right at the edges there. And let's go ahead and sew this one. Do we want to put something on the edges of this too? Maybe a little too much there. And I have the different ones that we have purchased. Looks like that side looped over. There we go. Didn't know if they knotted that or how they hooked it. But that is a very, very gorgeous piece. It'll bulk up the inside of the book, but if we put it on the edge, we'll have some dangle down. I think that's okay. Don't know if we want to double do it or not. So let's see what we want to do. And again, we can do a lot more of this once the book has been put together. We don't have to do it now, but since we're stitching anyway, might as well take advantage of it. So let's see if I want to add some of those stitches to the outside of this. And I think I might put it down on one pocket and then up the other side. Now this one might be easiest if we had the clips or the needles to hold it, but that's okay since we're not using those. And I am going to trim this one before we stitch it, just because it's easier to hold that way. Doesn't have as much bulk. And looks like we're going to lose one of the balls on the edge. We're going to cut that to the outside. So we're just going to cut that off completely. All right. Okay, so let's see how we do this one. This one's thicker, a little bit more tricky because those balls want to hang in the way. Way. Right up the side. And that sewing machine really just wants to jump all over the place. And trimming the threads. Okay, let's see what this one looks like, and it looks like I missed it completely. So let's go over that one more time. Unbelievable. Now we're going to pull it out since we have double threaded it and take a look at how that looks. Cut some of our strings off, have that wound around. I think we're going to trim that one off. Always a work of art. And what do you think? All right, so that's on one page, and then we're going to quickly sew up the other page, be done with this one, and move on to the next. Because again, as you see, it is a fun process to decide which pieces we want and which ribbons we want on each pocket. What do you think? All right, so I will be right back, and we're going to make a few more pockets, but I want to grab a little bit more lace to play with. Hi, and welcome back to Where Wendy Travels, Where Wendy Creates. We are in the middle of putting pockets on some of my junk journal pages, and so we want to just go ahead and continue. As you can see, I've gotten out some of my laces that we can put on the journal as pockets as well. Actually, I'm going to try this for a full pocket, because I absolutely love this. I wish you could see it. It's textured. It's got the little wire on top, wire on the side. This would make a great belly band, but I'm going to use it as pockets. And I'm going to take it the band, but I'm going to use it as pockets. And I'm going to take it the full length of the paper. Maybe I'm going to grab one that is not folded yet, if I have some extras. Maybe we'll even... Actually, I'm going to put it on a green one. And see if we can stretch it the entire length and fold it right in the center, right here. and pull it back same length. And we're just getting a measurement to trim it off so we can pop that under the sewing machine and add a pocket on both pages at the same time. Again, this is more ribbon and lace that I got from, I think the majority of this is Hobby Lobby. And we're putting the pockets on the books, and as I already discussed, I love the textures. Now this you can use a zigzag stitch, but I am going to twist the sides of this under and use a straight stitch because I think a straight stitch is all I need, and it's going to offer me some more use of the pockets. And that is a lot of beautiful texture going on there. The bottom seems to be going very straight. The top has a little bulk to it, so that's the part I'm going to have up in the sewing machine. So I can sew that down first. So we're just going to bring over the sewing machine, turn her on, and we're going to take it down. We are on a straight stitch. I locked my stitch, pulling it straight in, just about a 1/4 inch away from the edge of the paper as well as the ribbon. We're lifting the foot, pivoting, and bringing that straight across. I've got the paper lined up with my ribbon. And just get that started here. And we're going to bring that all the way across. As you can see, maybe the fur is going up a little bit in. Don't want to knock all my ribbons off. Here. Lift the foot to get over the wire on the edging. And we're going to lift, pivot, and go up this other side. Lock in that stitch. Since that ribbon fell, we're going to use it last. What do you think? All right, and raise the needle, pull it out, trim my threads. And I want to show you, we're going to fold that pocket in half. Now I could sew right up the middle, but I don't think it's necessary because we're going to bind the book together and that's going to seal that middle page. And trim our threads. And what do you think? So some beautiful texture. Plus, it is a... We ran out of that one, so that is great. Trim that up. We've got a scrap we can use. And we've got this we can put in our recycle. Don't know if I'm going to cut that up and you make paper out of it or not, but we'll put that aside so that we can make that decision. And we're going to pick this page back up. We're going to lay out our ribbon with the pretty side up, with the pretty side out, up and out. Roll it over that page approximately at the halfway mark. We can use a zigzag stitch or a straight stitch and go ahead and go down that page. We're going to lock our stitch at the top. Take it all the way down. And we measure, we can measure with a ruler or we can just do it this way. So we're coming up just barely over that pocket. We're trimming that off. And then as you can see, we're going to take that. We know our measurement now. We want one to match on the opposite side. So we're going to take that ribbon and cut another piece the same size. And if we want to get real industrious, because we know we're doing 50 pockets, we can go ahead and cut several of these the same at the same time. So we can go ahead and, like I said, we're doing 50 pages times the 4, that's 200 junk journal pages. So we can mass produce these by going ahead and trimming a lot. Ready to sew this. Down. I pulled it off the edge, so simply lift it, pull it back onto the edge. So this is telling me I should have used that hair clip. And back down a little bit. Needle down, up, pivot, foot down. And somehow I broke my thread. still have bobbin thread, but it's sewing up the ribbon onto the side. Let's do that one more time. And pull it out, trim our threads, and fold it over. We have another 2 pages that are ready. So again, that pocket is not folded, so we want to get it right in the center, line up our edges again, and press that pocket taut with our fingers. We can also use our scissors if we take the bottom part, and I've got some sticky on it from my glue beads. So we can press it down with that as well. And then we have another couple of pockets. All right, throw those back and let's get this going again. Folded these sheets in half. Actually, I might want it on a darker sheet. Mix and match a little bit more here. Grab those 2 edges. And another thing that we can do, if we want to get very elaborate here, that's the outside, is on the top of our pocket, we can actually take that piece that we've cut a little bit too long, and we can fold that piece right under the edge, press it against our cardstock, pull it around, make sure that's level, pull it up the other side if we had it long enough, turn it off. Okay, so we're continuing with the lace around the pockets. Pull my threads to the back. To save a little bit of time and thread, it's not really necessary, as I was sewing across the very bottom of this page, not necessary to do that because it is sewn and it is tight. So we're going to go ahead and skip that part. I usually do it, but a lot of times I do have that lace or that ribbon going across the bottom as well as the sides. On these pockets, I'm not going to do that because I don't have a desire to currently put the lace around the bottom of the sides. All right, let's get this one sewn up. And it's nice to mix and match the color. As you can see, I'm using the different cardstocks, colors with the different cardstock colors, just to mix that up. And again, these are going to be in between book pages and different pieces. So it's not necessary all of the time to have the same color on each. So put that aside. Let me show you. Maybe we'll do a scalloped page with some pockets. So let's grab a scalloped. We'll put the, I don't know, let's go ahead and do the darker color on it. And remember, when we're doing the pockets on the darker color, we're going to take that 8.5 by 11. We're going to fold it the 8.5 part over, so you've got about 4 1/4. And then instead of the full 11, because we did do the scalloped edges on the sides, we're going to go ahead and trim off a piece that we can use as a belly band or somewhere else. And that way, when we put the pocket on, we're not going over the scalloped edges. We still have that beautiful look on both sides. And we'll just sew that straight up. On this this side, I just did a straight stitch. On this other side, I think we'll go ahead and swap it back to a zigzag. So you can see the change, whether we do a zigzag or a straight stitch. The zigzag does have a little bit more style to it than the plain straight stitch, which looks more of like the bottom hem on a jeans maybe, versus the style there. And we're just going to take that seam, fold it over, use those scissors, crease that page, and we have one more page ready for the done pile. All right, so let's do another one, and this time let's do it backwards. So we have our darker sheet that is not scalloped or changed. We're going to grab one of our book pages that we've already scalloped around or torn around all of the sides, and we're going to fold it the opposite direction. We already have our crease in the center for the fold of our page, and we're going to put that scalloped as our pockets on this one. So line it up with that, and then you can see that we have the nice scalloped edge. Now I did this one right on the edge of the paper, so you don't have too much decor on either side. Let me see if I can center that. There we go. So we're going to take that and sew that one, and we're just going to leave that in the zigzag stitch that we have it currently in. Pull that, trim those threads, pop it over. Let me trim my threads, and I want to show you this one a little bit closer. Now we can do this straight stitch, we can do this zigzag, we can do this any way that we choose to. But there you have the different look for your page with the scallops. Pulling it inside out there. So you have your different pages. What do you think? All right, throw that one down. Let's do another one. And we're going to get all of these done super quick. So I am going to just speed through the next few of these so you can watch and enjoy. Did it again, knocked off some of my ribbon. Pick that up in a moment. And again, I said if I did 10 of these the same way, if we're doing 10 different journals, they're not all in the same book. All right. Oh, I just love that turtle. Let's not mess up that page. I like how it shows up on the really contrasting colored pages. I'm going to do some of these straight stitch again. So I hope you're liking the looks of this, just to do the different kind of styles, the different kind of pages. Find my center mark, fold it over, finger press it. I can use the scissors if my fingers don't want to work. But there, I hope you're getting a good idea of what I could do. And again, we're going to put some of this on the sides, the different ribbons. So maybe you can see me do another one of these, and then we'll move on and fast forward for you so you're not watching through all of these. But let's put some of this glorious ribbon on the bottom of some of these, or on the sides of some of these pockets for us. And we're going to put this one all up and down the one side only. And we're going to measure that, so that's 8.5 by 11 by 2. So if you wanted to do that, just 8.5 by 2, you're looking at 17 inches. And we're just going to sew that straight stitch all the way down. Of course, I'm letting that brown thread stay in there so you can see the contrast. We're going to sew up this other side real fast. And then you can see the pocket with the ribbon. And this again is like a page marker, having the ribbon out to the side as it is. So when you're looking through your junk journal, you have the outside page that you always know, kind of like a bookmark, where that is, like a page tab. All right, so we'll do several of these. Okay, and I wanted to use some of the rosettes on the side of the cardstock. I thought that'd be beautiful with the pockets. So we have cut it off of the roll. We're going to put that right on, pop it under the sewing machine, and add those rosettes to a page pocket. Let's see if I can juggle properly. I'm going to lock them down with a straight stitch. And we just sew up. It's a little bit bulkier, so it wants to be manhandled. So you got to hold it tight. It doesn't go off the side of the cardstock there. See if we held the other side on. Pull up our needle and flip it over. And yes, we went off the cardstock. So let's do that one more time here. And again, it's bulky, so it's hard to keep that straight. We've got the other side locked down. So let's lock this side down as well. We're just going to go over that one more time. We've got our straight stitch. We're locking in those purple rosettes. And this one, we've got another one to do the same pocket the same way. And this came off of a spool. Normally $8.99. We picked it up at Hobby Lobby, reduced for $2.24. But again, absolutely stunning, beautiful rosettes. I think this one's only 3 yards. So again, one of the more elaborate, bulkier pieces, but I really think it goes real well with that dark blue and the gray, and I think it's really going to make it pop. And we're putting that purple ribbon on the side. Just using the straight stitch, locking it down. Lift the foot, pull that thread, trim it up, and what do we think? Absolutely beautiful on that pocket. and trim our threads. I think we're perfect. Another technique I like to use with my 50 cardstock pages is using book pages, pages I've torn out of a book, and just folding down the top edge on either side ever so slightly. And then I can take that, take my cardstock page, open it up, and use it as a pocket on a cardstock page as well. And just sew that up just like that we have been doing. And we can put some of the lace around it. So we're going to take some of the lace, measure it out so it can go on both sides. Trim it up, make two pieces approximately the same length. And this is lace, even though it looks like fabric, has been cut into ribbon. Originally got it from Hobby Lobby, his and hers, $3.99 on clearance for 99 cents or 75% off. So that's pretty nice. And we're just going to sew this up just like we have the other pages. And this is going to be some of the 50 pages that we're doing with cardstock pages as well. Pop it right up in the sewing machine. Trim our threads, turn this around to the other side, and sew up the other side with our ribbon. And this, unlike the other pages, you're seeing I'm just doing half of the page, so we're sewing on both sides. We can do our straight stitch, our zigzag stitch, whatever you're comfortable with. When I'm using the lace and the ribbon, it's easier to use the sewing machine than when I'm using glue because of the ribbon. Oops, and that looks like it didn't catch, so let's throw that under the sewing machine and trim it up real quick. Obviously, we have to open our pages. And this is the beginning for another page in our junk journal. Just adding. What do you think? Pretty nice. And we have our pocket.